I don't think any other person will have a problem. The rest of the Usos, the Samoan dynasty, you might see Rikishi, you might see his dad and all of that kind, Alpha and Sika, they might be present, but will The Rock show up? And if he does, will he acknowledge Roman Reigns? That is the question. What's up, Maniacs? My name is Mex. I'm a wrestling fan, a wrestling enthusiast, a WrestleManiac, if you will. And right here at WrestleManiac UK, I discuss everything that's WWE and AEW. So if this sounds like the place for you, make sure you hit the subscribe button and make sure you hit the notification bell so you get notified each and every time I drop a new video. Today's video, we are talking about, will The Rock return to WWE Raw next week? They have finally dropped the little nugget we have been waiting for, and we're gonna get all into how this happened and what the ramifications could be if The Rock shows up or if he doesn't actually show up at Philadelphia for WWE Raw 30 next week. Make sure you hit the like button because you're gonna enjoy this video. Let's get into it. So we had a promo from the Usos. Solo Sikoa was around as well, and they said that next week on Raw 30, every generation of the Bloodline is going to be present to acknowledge Roman Reigns as the tribal chief. Literally, the minute this came out of Jimmy's mouth, the biggest smile came across my face because we know what that means. We know what they're trying to do. That should ultimately mean that The Rock is going to be present. He is a generation of the Bloodline. He is arguably the tribal chief. And we know what kind of trouble that could possibly start if we have someone that probably is the head of the table, is the tribal chief, coming out to acknowledge Roman Reigns. I don't think any other person will have a problem. The rest of the Usos, the Samoan dynasty, you might see Rikishi, you might see his dad and all of that kind, Alpha and Sika, they might be present. But will The Rock show up? And if he does, will he acknowledge Roman Reigns? That is the question. Now, I have a couple of lines of thought as to why he could show up, and a bit pessimistic why he probably won't show up. But we'll get onto that in just a second. So firstly, why The Rock could show up next week at Philadelphia for WWE Raw 30. After all, he is the Bloodline. They said that this is going to be like a family meeting, a family summit. Everyone's going to acknowledge Roman Reigns. He should be there. He should definitely be there. So that is one good positive as to why he should be there. Another one is Raw 30. This is a big celebration of Raw over 30 years. They are clearly building this show as something that's relatively big. We've got other big matches on the night and other big segments that's going to take place. So having The Rock come on such a big night, it's gonna feel proper. So it kind of makes sense for The Rock to be there rather than it being just like, any other kind of random Raw. Next week's Monday Night Raw is also the go-home show for the Royal Rumble. Yeah, we're gonna have a Raw, we're gonna have a SmackDown that week, and then on the Saturday, we've got Royal Rumble. So this is kind of leading and possibly starting the possible, fingers crossed, storyline between The Rock and Roman Reigns, maybe heading into WrestleMania. It's just a fantastic time to do it. A better way to start their story rather than, The Rock winning the Royal Rumble. Could still happen. I don't want to see it. Probably a lot of you don't want to see The Rock win the Royal Rumble. This is a good way away from the Royal Rumble to start it. And then maybe at the Rumble, after Roman has his match, The Rock can come out and they do something there. You see what I mean? Now, I hate to be pessimistic, but in my opinion, he probably won't show. After everything I've just said, he probably will not show. And for the simple reason why I don't think WWE can look to have The Rock on their TV show, on their product, without advertising him. It's not a show up thing. It's just not a show up thing. Like, The Rock would need to be advertised. Look at John Cena back in December. I'm pretty sure they kind of promoted John Cena coming for at least 2 to 3 weeks before he showed up and had that tag match with Kevin Owens, Roman Reigns, Sami Zayn. The Rock cannot just show up. Now, of course, we still have a whole week until this show. So they can announce it on social media or elsewhere, other kind of news platforms, that The Rock is going to be on WWE Raw on the 23rd of January. They can still advertise it. They still have 7 days to sell it. However, it just seems that WWE would have said tonight on Monday Night Raw that next week The Rock is going to be here along with the other members of the Samoan dynasty, the other members of the Bloodline, and then you just know The Rock is coming, the whole world tunes in. More importantly for them than us, so as fans, the ratings will be up with The Rock appearing, you would hope. So that's what just makes me think straight away, The Rock ain't coming, because they would have advertised this. Now at the same time, still building to a possible WrestleMania story, I think it could be a masterstroke if The Rock doesn't show up. If The Rock doesn't show up and Roman is almost expecting his cousin to show up, to acknowledge him along with the rest of the family, that could start a rift in itself. That can drive Roman crazy. We've seen how Roman's got a short temper these days. So that's almost a different indirect way to start this story. But then when does The Rock make his first appearance? Maybe it will be at the Royal Rumble in a couple weeks time. So him not showing up could almost be great. Roman could even have a little bit in the segment where he prompts Paul Heyman, you know, tell them to play The Rock's tune, he's coming out. And The Rock, no shows. And they play it again and The Rock, no shows. That would really be, you know, an even bigger nugget that something is in the pipeline here between Roman Reigns and The Rock. Whether The Rock shows up on Monday Night Raw next week or he doesn't show up, I do not see The Rock acknowledging Roman Reigns at all. So that would definitely be the feud starter. However, WWE advertising that the entire Bloodline family, that all the generations are going to be there to acknowledge Roman Reigns, something's bubbling. Ladies and gentlemen, I think we may be getting what we want. Something is bubbling. For them to do that, that has to be the beginning of this storyline that we have wanted for such a long time. Roman Reigns versus The Rock at WrestleMania. It's got to be. It has absolutely got to be. The stage is Hollywood, for God's sake. Like, honestly, this has got to be the beginning of what is going to be a fantastic main event, at least from a spectacle point of view, between Roman Reigns and The Rock. But yeah, like I said, Raw 30 next week is looking like a big show. I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to this segment and seeing what goes down. I want to hear from you guys. Do you think The Rock is going to turn up at WWE Raw next week? Do you think he will turn up? Do you think he won't turn up? What do you think is better, if he does turn up or if he doesn't turn up for the story? Let me know down below in the comments. If you enjoyed today's video, make sure you hit us with a big thumbs up. Hit that like button, please. And if you're new to the channel, welcome to the channel. Subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell so you get notified each and every time I drop a new video. WrestleManiac UK signing out, and I'll see you soon.